Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to the ESOC Autumn Championships 2018. Today I'll be casting with WickedCossack, since Maito, of course, is playing this series, so he cannot cast it too. As always, there are timestamps for each matchup in the description below, so feel free to skip ahead at any point if you so desire. A little bit of news before we get into this. Many of you will know that I'm currently taking time off work. I've got a month paid holiday, which is nice, although it does end soon, which is sad. And I was hoping to make more videos during this time off. I've not really done very much, which is frustrating. And this is down largely, I just got sick. I've spent a week in hospital. I had to have my appendix out. I was sort of really not feeling great for a couple of days. Then I went to hospital, and then sort of now I'm starting to feel better. I can sit for long periods of time without it being painful. So getting back to normal, all done and dusted. I'm perfectly fine. I just wanted to give a quick update as to why there's... hopefully we can get more videos and get this channel back on track. So there is that. Don't worry about me, though. Back to normal now. Enjoy the video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESOC Autumn Championships for 2018. This is going to be game number 1 in a best of 5 series between GIB the Dirty, Jib the Dirty, versus Maito. I'm joined by WickedCossack. How are you, Cossack?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. Looking forward to casting this. I think it is Jib. Did we decide Jib?
We'll go with Jib.
Jib. Wait, yeah. No, Gib. I confused myself now. I was thinking between GIF and GIF earlier. That's what confused me.
I see. Well, I mentioned that there is a Gibson, and that's not Gibson. So anyway,
yes.
Some of you may be thinking that we're not that familiar with this player. You may be correct. Maito, let's start with him. He's on the south of the map here. He is the favourite to go through. You saw on the overlay the betting match. It said 98% in favour of Maito to win this. People have been putting their ESOC coins. You exchange. So we're going to be quickly tabbing out. Maito was casting with me yesterday, so we'll be back in a moment. But let's get back into this. Attempt number 2. ESOC Manchuria will be the map. Maito in the colour teal, cyan, light blue, whatever you want it to be, playing as the French. Also going to be starting on the south of the map, so seems appropriate. We'll be resuming this. As I was saying, so Maito, the clear favourite by the betting community. And when I say that, I'm referring to the ESOC points. You exchange Ethereum on one of the well-known Bitcoin networks, and you get some ESOC coins, and then you can place bets. No, I'm joking, although that would be quite funny. Two would great start. Just want to point that out before we get going. But yes, most people think Maito is going to win, and if we take a look at previous tournament history, he has got an incredibly high win rate. I think the second highest win rate of every player, except Lord Raphael. So Maito, quite strong opponent. But Gib, he certainly stands a chance. He's gotten to the round of 16, and it's not, he's a lieutenant colonel, whatever it is. And he's 2,400 elo, and Maito, I think, represents 2,600. So a 200-point difference, but perhaps it's manageable. We'd like to see Gib put up a good fight. Maybe he can take a couple of games off, but ultimately going into this, we expect Maito to win. I think a lot of people do, but we'll see how that goes, and it would be a very interesting upset if perhaps that was not the case. However, I'd like to point out that this is by far Gib's best Civ, Japan. He's played over 2,000 games with Japan out of the 3,000 that he's played in total. So that is something, this game in particular might go quite well for him. We'll see how that goes. But let's take a look at the explorers on the map here. A bit of a treasure contention over a 65 coin, Cossack.
Yeah, so that was the slowest treasure contention ever. Jib actually takes that one. Interestingly, it was the 200 wood start, right? But so I was a little surprised Maito went straight for the 65 coin instead of going for a trading post. But he's obviously elected to start with the market instead, and just using the coin to get himself hunting dogs. It's a little bit awkward though, because he's kind of got 169 wood just chilling in the bank. So I think what he's hoping is he's going to come across one of these extra wood treasures pretty early on that you usually see in Manchuria, and he's kind of banking that he might get the TP and the market all in age 1. But at the moment he hasn't kind of come across that wood treasure, so it's not worked out for him as he would like.
No, hasn't managed
Oh,
to get the trading post down.
he's got the house instead. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, he finds a way to spend it. They're pretty useful buildings early on, but a big wood treasure always would be nice. Does open up more available slots. Another treasure contention, perhaps. Will he be as slow?
Yeah. I mean, if Jib can pick this up, he'll be... I think he got it, didn't he?
He did get it! Brilliant! Oh, Jib off to a flying start here and playing his best civilization. Maybe he can take a match off Maito in game 1. It's early days, but I would say definitely leading this Age 1, as H2O would like to say, as he would like to point out the story of Age 1. Jib doing quite well. Let's take a look at the shipment being sent then. So recently, Japan being played a bit differently, Maito alluded to yesterday. He was telling me often we see 300 wood. The meta's been changed up a bit. But going with that traditional, tried and true, heavenly kami, that is the first shipment here from Japan.
Yeah, he's the other option would be to send the free fishing boats. He's still going to have access to it because he's got the port consulate, so we can expect to see him ship the free fishing boats early on in Age 2. So he's going to go for a pretty heavy eco, which is the sort of the style Japan has been playing for a very long time now, and it's still been pretty successful. So it's probably a style Jib's got the most experience with. I know he's played quite a bit with sort of King of Osmane. I know he likes sort of the walls, getting some turtle strategies going. So I'll be interested to see if he does that again.
Yeah.
So yeah, he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who would ship 300 wood and can go pretty aggressive in this matchup.
No, he's the more of traditional style. Perhaps some walls, play some defensive, just the ordinary standard style that most people are used to over the years. But what an absolute stonker of a start. Got all the treasures and found a 90 wood treasure as well. Just absolutely brilliant. Gib going to be off to an excellent start. I'm looking forward to the rest of this game and see how he can translate that early advantage. Maito, though, now going up to the next stage. Both of them about halfway aged here, and you can see Maito's transitioned his villagers over onto different resources here. We've got Gangsaw, I imagine now saving up for steel traps, potentially placer mines as well, getting all those early eco things that France likes to do. And, of course, the early trading post, getting that down during transition.
Yeah, the thing with the treasures is I feel that they matter even more than just the resources, because it just gives you the really good feeling and like the confidence to do whatever you want. Like it feels so important just to have momentum going into Age 2, even more than say the resources give you. And you can see Jib, I'm glad I remembered this rightly. He is putting down the walls. So he's obviously, I guess, expecting some kind of aggression from Maito. We'll have to see how fast Maito plays this. Yeah. I imagine Maito might play it a little bit slower and kind of just take the TP line. But he's got one Rex going up in the middle. We'll have to see if that's just for maybe 5 pikes or if he's going to drop a second Rex.
How do you feel about it going up right next to a shrine there? I mean, the villager was in that location. It did actually manage to kill one of the deer that was going to be going onto that. So it's actually only got 3 animals on there, and I'm not sure if it can attract another one, which is interesting. I've not really seen that happen. But he started shooting the animal just before it decided to go onto the shrine, and that normally it would become unattackable. But yes, he's built it next to this shrine, which supplies line of sight.
Yes, so the advantage of that is you can immediately see to the shrine, but of course the disadvantage is that Jib can immediately see what's going on, and that there's just one Rex down in the middle. So I mean, Maito has given a bit of information away there for free, but he obviously feels that it doesn't really matter.
Pike's coming out. Look at that, right away, going to start sieging.
Yeah, I mean, Jib's probably expecting, obviously, his shrines are going to be targeted, so I don't think it's any big surprise that Maito has revealed this Rax. Feels a pretty normal start.
Yeah, Japan, in the meantime, lots of shrines going up. We see 600 wood. Looks like it's came twice for Jib there. And he's gotten his racks up in the back of his base, nice and snug behind this wall, which stretches all the way down to the coastline. So those 5 pikemen, and now joined by 5 crossbowmen, they've just finished killing that shrine. Looks like we're going to be going for a trapped construction team, qualified to build war huts and stables. So going to crack shot that last guardian here and pick himself up an extra building. So that's pretty strong. But after this, I suspect we'll see him march around the map, sieging shrines. But what a pickup. That's a really, really great treasure.
Yeah, that's a really strong treasure. I'm wondering if that's why maybe he didn't drop the second racks, because usually France we used to see in the past sort of like the double racks crossbow pike. He's dropping it now, and putting the stable down. So this looks like he's committing fully to H2 and just gonna crossbow pike and maybe mixing some hussars with a 700 coin shipment.
Yeah, a little bit of a skirmish here in the middle of the map there. The Yumi's taking a few shots at the crossbow, but they did get to return a volley, so fairly even currently. The Yumi's not really able to do very much whilst these pikes siege down the shrines, so Maito doing the best, worth the siege damage and covering the pikes with the crossbowman army that he's got here. More Yumis joining the battle, though. Fairly even army size. I think the crossbows might just take it, but the Yumi is a stronger unit.
Yeah, I mean, the Yumi have got a slightly longer range, and the firing animation on the Yumis is so much nicer. So as long as Jib doesn't step away too far from the walls, he's going to be able to kind of pick away at these the crossbow sieging the shrines. I mean, the only issue is he has to know Maito got this stable treasure, and we can see Maito's now shipped the 700 coins, so presumably hussars are going to be on the way. And so Jib has to be a little bit careful that he doesn't, stray too far away from his walls.
Yeah. Wow, Maito's managed to get log flume out as well, so even getting that super upgraded wood, so he's all set for the rest of the game here. And he's of course got that trading post, so this is by no means a weak colonial. It's not exactly going to fizzle out. He's got all the upgrades he needs, that free stable as well, so going to tech switch for free, and look at the size of this crossbow mass now. These Yumi's on the retreat.
Yeah, there's a huge military difference. We can see Jibba, he's only got eight army out right now, which are these 8 Yumis.
Oh, that's because he's just placed the Wonder down. He's now hitting up to the next stage. Do you think he'll make it? This is looking like a big army here. Can he hold out long enough? He's got the walls, and he's got shrines, which are going to distract Maito, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to hold out. So the walls are going to be really useful, because if he can get the Yumi behind that, he outranges everything.
Yeah.
The problem is these walls. I mean, okay, they're useful, but if Maito really wants to siege it down, he can just stand there and he will get through. Especially if you've only got 6 Yumis firing. I mean. Let's see if Maito finds that Jib's aging. He can probably suspect it just on the fact that Jib, he's only seen 6 or 7 Yumis up to this point. He probably has a pretty good idea that he is actually aging. So, I mean, Maito's decided to age up as well. So that is that is going to give Jib the window that he needs. But obviously, Maito doesn't mind.
Do you think Maito suspects it, like you mentioned, and thought the best way would be to just go up here? He doesn't want to deal with the wall. He's done plenty of damage, killed lots of shrines, and now these pikemen are taking on that last trading post here, and he thinks, I'll just get up to the next stage, maybe get the crossbow upgrade, but then be done with them and switch into that fortress style with 2 shipments stacked, and France is quite nice in the fortress age.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to clear all the shrines off the map and also take down this trading post. But he did spend a bit longer in H2 than usually we see from France. Either they kind of commit fully to H2 with the crossbow pike and then add in the hussars and make a big push, or they try and age a little bit earlier. But I think Maito just really wanted to clear these shrines off, which he has done a pretty good job of. There's just a few shrines next to his trading post, which he's now going to head down and clean those up as well.
Yeah, I'm going to grab those. The population for Jib currently 120 overall. So once these go down, he's not got his 200 shrine pop, and he's not got them. He's not going to be able to put them back out on the map unless he can get back out on there and rebuild them. The green player, we see some Naganatas come out. They're definitely going to be useful because lots of crossbowmen, but also 2 falconets have just hit the board. Maito's going to need some sort of protection here for those units other than just the pikemen, which currently are preoccupied, and obviously they're going to want to stay there to siege. But yes, doing a little bit of harass. He's now got skirmishers mixed in with the crossbows, so getting back some of that range advantage. The Yumis aren't quite as safe behind those walls.
Yeah, Maito was playing super confident there. He didn't actually have any anti-cav out. I mean, Jib's got 10 Naggies, and I assume there's goons coming,
Oh,
like training
baby.
from the
8
stable.
skirmishes has just
I
been
mean, he
shipped.
shipped 8 skirms. I don't see any goons on the map. I have to assume he's training some from this
Yeah,
stable.
well,
But
for him, I hope so. Let's take a look at the units in queue. No Dragoons. Oh, yes, he does, actually. Sorry, it took a moment to load, and I couldn't quite see. But, yeah, this is quite perhaps greedy. I don't know. It feels like there's not a lot of anti-cavalry here, and that he could get punished.
he could. I think Jib he ran his Naggies over Maito's Explorer. Maito might have been paying attention. He might have seen that there's a big Naggy. I mean, he's going in. There's only 3 Dragoons here. This is
This is
that's an issue.
Yeah,
Jib's,
but
he's pulled back.
he's not going to take it. Perhaps not too confident there. That was, if there was a moment to go, it would have been right there.
I think he's hesitating. He's not. I mean, the 5 goons have now come out from Maito, so the window I think is just closed.
It's closing.
Jib is just gonna get there, but I mean, these 5 goons gonna be on the way as well.
Yeah.
Right. He has decided to go in. The trees are actually kind of nice, but I mean, he's gonna lose the 2 Falcons pretty quickly.
Yeah, I did lose them.
Yeah.
But now the crossbow and skirmisher army should be fine here. Plenty of goons to take on these Naganatas, and mostly all of the Yumis sort of dwindling away, and only Ashigaru left in there, which obviously the skirmishers are quite strong. All the Nagas gone down, and this is looking like that Maito has gotten away with it, and has now got the superior army composition here, and can push forward and do some lasting damage.
Yeah, I mean those 10 goons arrived, just in time. If it had been 10 seconds earlier, he could have had a problem. Oh, and 5 Ashi batch. He's just gonna. Yeah, good micro for Maito. He probably picked up an extra Ashi than he would have done.
Cherry orchards. Not quite. Not quite. That would have been brutal, losing one of them.
Yeah, Maito's just not going to let up now. He's going all unit shipments. We got the 3 Kurashes coming out now, and he's just going to push in on from here. I mean, Jib's trying to build even more walls, yeah. But the thing with the walls is you kind of need a lot of Yumi to make use of them, and at the moment most of his army's actually Ashis. So the walls aren't going to be as useful as they might be if he had a big Yumi mass.
Yeah, a little bit of a raid in the back here. Kurashe's a little bit preoccupied chasing 2 Naganatas around. Trouble is the Kurashes don't have all that great speed, but it's not going to matter because they stop for a moment. Is going to be able to sit there, pick them up. A little bit of nice Nitro from the 1 Kurashe there. Back to the main event though. This shrine now going down, just sort of boxing him in, not ready to fully push in. Is he waiting for those Kurashes to clear up the Naganatas in his base and join forces with these 5 that have just been trained as well? Perhaps that's what he's hesitating for before he wants to fully go in here.
Yeah, but to be fair to Jib, he's done a good job of kind of re-walling. I went to have a look at the raid, and then I just come back to Jib's base, and the wall has just magically reappeared. But I mean, it's gone down again now. So Maito's just he's sort of zoned out this coin mine at the front and the cherry orchard, and he's deciding that he at this point he doesn't want to take any huge risks. He might push in now that he's got cav combat just come in. And those extra 5 cures. But I think he was just content with zoning out this mine and the cherry orchard. And he's sort of deciding, well, no reason to push behind the TC. It's just a bit of a risk until he feels really confident.
Keep those villagers boxed in. Don't let him gather any coin. Don't let him gather any food. He does fortunately have a cherry mine. Cherry mine?
A cherry mine?
Cherry mine.
What is that?
Well, he's gathering from it, apparently. But now coming in, he's got enough Kurashes here. An extra 5 batch has arrived, in addition to what was there before, and able to start sieging. Lots of Yumi, though. This is a surprising mass here, and the Naganata's the Ashigaru coming in as well. So actually, going to be able to repel these skirmishers away. He's going to have to chuck the Kurashes in there if he really wants this to work out. But actually, just continuing to siege, taking damage from all of these ranged units. And I wonder if this is... he's committing to it. Okay, and Ashigaru going into hand combat here. The Kurashes not really wanting to do anything with that. They're going to try and get back out. a little bit stuck. Is going to fight it. The area damage coming in nicely. I guess the skirms supplying a lot of damage to them. Has cleaned them all up now and able to move on top of the Yumi archers. Nothing there to protect them anymore. Trying to jam into the corner. Is he deliberately using the Vils to just stand in the corner?
I think his anti-cav is now the
absolutely
villagers.
brilliant. That is very, very nicely played. But they're just going to come around the sides. He can't stop him forever. And the Kuroshe is going to get on top. But has managed to kill off quite a number of the Kuroshes here. And those Yumis might be okay because of it. So actually, Jib, very nicely done. I think he's going to be able to clear this up.
Yeah, I think he does. That's a really clutch hold. The only issue is now how many villages does he lose? Maito's going to try and pick a few as he. Oh, is he going to get locked in?
No, he tried it though. The walling is on point.
Yeah, really nice kind of hold there by Jib, but he's lost quite a few vills, and Maito's just keeping up the pressure, actually.
Yeah, Maito behind this much stronger economy. We know he's got all of the relevant upgrades. He got amalgamation in as well. Jib, not Rip Villager. He's also got this trading post, right? And he's getting the stagecoach upgrade, I would expect, to really start ramping up the resources. But yes, a lot of villagers went down in that fight to hold, but he did manage to hold. That is the story here. But I think Maito got a stronger position as a result of it.
Yeah, also the problem for Jib is that his resources have been zoned out this whole time. He has a sort of a coin mine at the back, but these 3 cherry orchards, you know, they've been in the range of the skirmishes for the last 6-7 minutes of the game, and so he's just had his food gathering hasn't been as much as he'd like.
It looks like, though, he has managed to push Maito away for the time being. Let's see if he can rebuild this economy, if he can get some more shrines up. Maybe he can catch up back in the game. Certainly re-walling, and that could prove difficult for Maito again. Maybe he needs to build some siege weapons, get that siege workshop down. We'll see. Something to take on the walls with. Who knows? But and certainly there'd be very strong falconets, that would be, against the Yumi archers here. So let's see what Jib can do. By no means out. Down 40 points, but Maito probably pretty pleased with his position. Went in there, did some damage, and currently has the stronger economy. Artillery Foundry is going down, actually.
Have you seen the HP on these skirms? Maito's actually shipped two combat upgrades for his skirms.
The Wilderness Warfare and the long-range infantry hit points. So 186 HP. That is, that's quite a lot. And coming back in here to shoot the Vils. What do the Yumi archers have? 135, so quite a bit less.
Yeah. So Jib did get a nice batch of Nagis out, and if he can hide them maybe and get another batch out. Maito just hasn't been building any goons just because he obviously hasn't seen that he's needed any. So I mean maybe Jib can get surrounded. He's moving his Nagis over to what looks like he's going to try a flank.
He's going to try and get them in position. A batch of 5 Kuroshes joining, and maybe he's foregoing the Dragoons, Maito, that is, 4 Kuroshes, just because they're very strong against the Yumi, and they're also going to be quite strong against the Naginata as well, since, of course, they don't have very good multipliers against cavalry.
Oh, the 5 pikes have found the Nagis. Well, that's sport the surprise, unfortunately. That's if Maito saw.
Town Centre does go down, though. Has managed to finish off the work that he started earlier.
Yeah, and I mean the Yumis are doing well. The Qs can't really get
these Vils going down.
Yeah,
he's not pleased with that, and it looks like game number 1 going to be going to Maito here.
It was a very good start for Jib. I thought he had some nice moves. He protected his Yumis well, but Maito just powered through with some pretty flawless play. So it wasn't too much Jib could do that. I mean, wait, no, he had that window early on, right, with the Nagis, and Maito didn't have any goons. Maito was playing really confidently, Jib just missed it just by 10 seconds.
He could have slammed them all in there. He was on top, but then he chose to get on out of there. I think he was spooked by the 2 Falconet shipment.
Yeah, well, that's the issue. When you're playing against a really good player, you just assume, oh well, obviously he has 10 goons behind this.
Yeah.
Like why would he be out here with 40 skirms and no anti-cav? Obviously he wouldn't be. He's too good to do that, right? And so you don't go in, and then you decide, well, hang on, maybe I'll go in now. And by the time you decide to do that, wow, it's too late. So sometimes you just have to take those those opportunities.
That is a good point, but that an interesting game nonetheless. I would have liked to have seen Jib take that opportunity we were mentioning earlier, but Maito ultimately picking up the victory in this first game. This is a best of 5, so we have a few more games coming up. Let's get into that.
So Maito's got first pick, and he's chosen to go with British. So we'll have to see what Jib can pull out. He's just gonna take the mirror.
Gonna take the British mirror. All right then. This is another strong civ from Jib. This is although he's played most of his games as Japan, British is his second favourite civ, or the second most played civ. So some experience here. Maybe that's why Maito's picking it. He's going into this non-trading post map, so obviously want a civilization that doesn't rely on trading posts. British is one of those civilizations, and out of the ones that he could have picked, just goes British, because he knows that Jib probably likes British, and that Maito might feel that he is the stronger player and can mirror that and will come out on top. Equally though, maybe that's a poor decision, because you're playing into the opponent's hands. You're playing into their strongest civ. Only this is all speculation, but it is a British mirror nonetheless. What do you think of this?
So I think, and bear with me, we might see quite a few musketeers. That is,
are you sure?
That is my assessment of the matchup. Yeah, well, I mean, it did start transitioning a bit into people shipping like 6 longbows and 6 musketeers as their first cards towards the forward tower, and there was quite intensive forward base wars. So we'll have to see if it heads in that direction. But I mean, Maito might just play it out as a really heavy eco boom. Jib might do the same, considering we saw how he played last game with the Wolves. He's obviously a big fan of the Turtling, so he rather than contest the forward base, Jib might just tower in base and sort of build as many manners as he can and let Maito have the map for a bit.
Right off the bat, going to be going for 60 food treasure. Is quite near Maito, and Maito's going to see that alligator there. I wonder if he cares. If he's perhaps just trying to find the livestock and get out on the map and isn't too concerned. Either way, Jib not up for finishing that off. He's actually just going to leave it there. He knows Maito's in the area. Perhaps it's not worth it. Now coming back for that because he doesn't see Maito nearby. Maito might have just blanked it. Obviously, it's still early game. Could be doing something in his base with his villagers. May not have even seen it. But either way, comes across 70 wood. And that is a really nice pickup. Maito going to be very, very pleased with that. But yes, there are a couple of options for British. I've noticed before, Cossack, as you were mentioning, we do have those sort of forward towers. And I love how the British mirror turns into something that's fairly aggressive. Normally Brit wants to sit in its base, boom, these kind of things. But when you have the mirror on your hand, it turns scrappy, in my opinion. I like the big musk wars, and I like seeing if people can add in a few longbows just to snake the advantage. But interesting stuff. We'll see where it goes. Jib, he's got his market down. Hunting dogs now in queue. I'm looking at the wrong player, but yes, there is the market there. I think Maito going to be able to do something similar because he has, of course, just found 70 wood and also got 4 llamas quite nearby, being very diligent, keeping them next to his explorer, Cossack.
Yeah, and he's not even going to bring them back home. He's got the confidence just to sit next to this 100 food treasure, take that, secure the llamas as well.
You wait here, llamas. I'm busy getting pineapples worth 100 food.
I mean, it's a very worthwhile stop off. So if you can make sure that you manage the llamas well, which Maito can do, then it's absolutely worth it. Jib's going to pick up what looks to be a native scout. The thing with the native scout treasures, I always find it hard to assess their value because it's such an intangible asset you're adding. I mean, the scouting he's going to get from it is really useful. But at the same time, when you pick it up, you almost feel like, wow, this could have been a resource treasure. And so you always feel a little bit bad. But he could definitely make good use of this scout. So we'll have to see
where's he going? He's right next to the market. He's just like, going around that house felt a bit sketchy. But look, no, he's lost one.
Is he just like
parading these llamas through his opponent's base here. He feels sorry for him. Here you go, just have a llama. I think he didn't realise how close he was to Jib's base, was just scouting idly, and then comes across a market and just gets a little bit too far. One of those llamas strayed a little bit too far away from the explorer, and the market manages to capture it there. A little bit of a mistake, but ultimately you can see Maito does have good control over the llamas overall, and he's going to take them home. Two $10, goodness me, Turd Callan, $10. K-Train was at T10 2v2 in the world, then Sompi resigned, an easy win. Also, oh my god, it's gone now and I can't read the rec. But what's going on with this treasure? I saw like he was coming up to some sort of treasure contention whilst babysitting his llamas. How did that go?
So yeah, Maito somehow managed to pick up some really good treasures while babysitting these llamas the entire time. I mean, that was such a show-off move, just walking through your enemy's base, like, look how much livestock I
just
have.
showing them off.
I've never seen that before. That's asserting your dominance if I've ever seen it. It would have been better if he had done it maybe more intentionally. I think that was a bit unintentional, as Jib did steal the llama there. But so Maito's aged up, and so it looks like he's going to send his outpost forward. But Jib's setting up a manor, so it looks like we might actually have a little bit of a forward base war going to happen. In which case, it might be beneficial for both these players to actually be shipping unit shipments pretty early on, as opposed to say 700 wood, 5 earls, that sort of thing, which we traditionally see Brits see.
Yeah, let's see where this outpost goes. He scouted the 2 vills and this manor house. Just gonna plonk it right there next to these chaps' house, whilst they're gathering from these ostrich-like creatures. So gonna be doing that. Yes. So you're anticipating some sort of military unit shipment on the way. It's going to be a scrappy game. However, Maito, he's going to send 700 wood. So we'll see how that goes down for him.
There was quite a big discrepancy between the age up times. So Maito aged up considerably before Jib, and so I think he's fine actually here, just sending 700 wood.
Oh, that's true. Another $10 donation from Sir Callan. Brit Mirror is objectively the greatest AoE 3 TAD matchup. $20 total. Thank you very much, Callan, contributing to the ESOC prize pool. All of these tournaments are indeed funded by user donations, so it is absolutely appreciated. So that's very kind of you here. Looks like we have, as you said, he did age up a little bit slower, so he's going for the 700 wood, being a little bit more laid back. In fact, actually, Jib going for 700 wood too.
Yeah, so the problem with aging up slightly slower is he's sort of lost all map control, so it feels like Maito can kind of just dictate the pace of this game and what he wants to do now. I mean, however, there are a lot of hunts on this map, so Jib is fine kind of staying in his base for a little bit. He's got a mine at the back as well.
Look at this,
so
Maito.
It's not like he's going to run out of
saw
resources.
That 700 wood? The scout coming through, he's to make sure he can see what his opponent's got there. Does potentially see the 700 wood if he was paying attention. It was certainly on the floor whilst the Explorer was in base, so he knows there's no military unit shipments, and as a result of that, is he just going to...
Yeah, he's doing a good job of scouting. It's always nice to send your Explorer just again through the enemy's base just to see has he already got the second racks up, because then you want to maybe get a few more units yourself. But as Maito's seen that Jib's still on 1 racks as of 20 seconds ago, he knows that he doesn't necessarily need to add his own second racks yet. He's fine to boom away. So that's something which you see the very best players always do, and they're always scouting and trying to find out what's going on.
Need the information here. So the key difference at the moment is that Jib has 4 musketeers that he trained walking all over the map, going for a little bit of a raid. Maito does see them with the manor houses and is going to get these 3 villagers away to safety. These are a little bit far away, dispatching 5 musks of his own to go and deal with this threat. Does take a pot shot at a villager, not going to be able to kill it though. He's causing some trouble. He might actually get a villager, doesn't quite. He's now going to get back out of here. Does take a shot from the town centre and a couple of musketeers nearby. They're here to chase him away. Sir Callan donated another $10. Maito, and it started out intentionally only. I imagine that's a comment on the llamas. $30 total. Thank you very much, Callan.
Thank you, Callan. This is This mistake will never stop, no matter how long AoE 3 carries on for. In 40, 50 years time, right? The best players are always still going to be accidentally shipping resource crates to like their forward outpost or blockhouse. It's never going to stop. Oh, nice little bit of micro here by Maito, exploring melee mode. trying to snare this musketeer, and it means he's going to pick them all off as well. He will catch up to this one. Otherwise, Jib could have got away with 2 or 3 of his raiding musketeers, but Maito's making sure that's not going to happen.
Yeah, very persistent, going to chase him around the map, making use of the Explorer, just picking up every advantage he can, shutting down the raid, no villagers were killed, and making sure the musketeers are dispatched so that they cannot continue to do so, picking up some advantage. The key difference, though, aside from that raid, is that Jib has gone with a bunch of longbowmen. He's managed to mass a few up there, which we know are the counter to musketeers, or at least they have some multipliers there.
Yeah, so I mean they'll do well. If he's sitting in his base, but the issue is going to be when he has to try and push out. So he's actually deviated quite a bit because now he's added in 5 hussars. So these actually aren't going to be too useful against Maito's musketeer army. However, what they can do is try and disrupt Maito's villager gathering. But there aren't too many exposed villagers for Maito. He's done a good job of putting sort of like manas, getting mana line of sight out before any of his villagers. Well, apart from this one, which is going to get picked off.
Yeah, looks like he's come out to build a mana or something like that. $2 from Lacassetti. He says something about nerfing Hazard. He doesn't want to repeat himself. Yep, Hazard. We're actually going to be interviewing him, me and Cossack, after this. So stick around if you want to hear that. We're looking to interview all of the top 8 players. And Hazard, of course, is one of the top 8 through to the next round. His opponent, actually, will be one of these 2 that we're watching currently. So, most likely Maito. Ooh, the cavalry being repelled here, trying to get in range of the villagers to do some damage. But Maito going to send them send them away.
He's got another batch of five hussars up to the top. This is actually quite unusual. You often don't see huge numbers of hussars in Brit mirrors just because of how many musketeers.
Nice pincer here is able to catch these hussars and force them towards the town centre. Does pick one off and just causing them to go at a funny angle. And look, another 3rd batch of musketeers split off. This is really nicely done from Maito. There is another batch of hussars though, and they're taking out villagers. But some nice positioning from Maito on the ball here, trying to shut down these raids with his musketeers.
Yeah, I mean, I was worried Jib wasn't going to get any villagers, but I mean, the thing is, when you make the hussars, you really need to get villager kills because 10 huss, that's the same as 20 musketeers, which is that's just a huge. It's just a huge amount.
You've got to make something work with them because they're not all. 2 more coming up close to these musketeers here. Does take a shot and does die. But you're absolutely right. They're not great in a fight, especially when your opponent's making nothing but musketeers, which Maito is doing. So they do need to pick up an advantage in other ways, villager kills, so that you can get some of that back.
Yeah, and it looks like Maito's going to hit age 3. Jib's just started, so I mean it's not too bad for him, but Brits takes forever to age, so Maito's taken quite a bit of a lead in the tech advantage. And the thing is, if Maito just immediately upgrades his musketeers and then say ships 2 Falcons to this outpost, or even just ships musketeer combat, considering how many he has. And then just pushes. Jib is he might struggle to hold that even with his longbows.
Yeah, it could be a bit ropey. I like how Maito just has musketeer groups just stationed everywhere to deal with these raids. There's a couple of musks here, a couple of musks there. He's just making sure that there's no way he can be raided effectively. They do manage to pick up a few villager kills here, but as you said, he's just massed so many musks, and he's managed to kill a number of hussars here. So the military unit discrepancy is quite significant currently, even if Green has a slight economic advantage. Here we go. 2 falconets, as you mentioned, have arrived. He's already pushing in now with these musketeers. Veterancy just arrives. The cannon's now setting up and taking pot shots. He's outside, parked, and will be doing damage versus the racks here. Longbowmen are trying to do some damage, but they don't want to get too close since, of course, falconets have a very significant range. You can do big damage versus infantry groups like that.
Yeah, I mean, the only way Jib can counter this is with 2 Falcons of his own, and they're about, a minute and a half off. And I mean, if you just let Maito sit in your base for a minute and a half, you're just going to lose so much infrastructure. So, I mean, there's not too much Jib can do until he gets his own 2 Falcons of his own. He's going to do what he can, which is using the superior range of the longbows to pick off like any musketeers that stray too far away from the Falcons. So, I mean, he takes about three unit kills for free there, which is nice. But I mean, there's not It's. I mean, it must be frustrating for him because he's just watching his base get killed, and there's not really anything he can do about it.
Yeah, he needs to get his shipment and musketeer combat coming in as well. So Maito primed to do a lot of damage here. That score discrepancy getting very, very big indeed. Jib is going to need the Falk shipment absolutely, and honestly, just more units. And this is very difficult for this to go wrong. This composition is absolutely solid.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing he might have gone from his favour is Maito decided to bank up to go industrial, it looks like, which is taking a tiny bit of a risk. And in fact, well, he's actually decided he's not going to take the risk. He's just going to pull back. So that's the alternative. If you want to age, then just stop pushing. And he's done it about the right time. Like he kind of estimated that Jib's Falcons are going to arrive about now, which they did. So now's the time to pull back. Just age up, get the industrial redcoats, and
a couple more donations coming in. I think a troll donation from Sunku Konku about recruiting new members for the SKG clan, which I believe Jib was a member of, trained by, and two and $2 more coming in as well, reminding me to update the score, which is currently 1-0. So thank you very much for that. I do need reminders, and I perhaps am deliberately doing it just to raise funds for ESOC. These cav walking straight past the musketeers. Maito, though, does catch on to that, but not before these cavalry are going to get past and do some damage. It's worth pointing out Jib does have a slightly stronger eco, but I don't think that's going to make up for... Oh, hold on a moment. Look at this. 84 military population. He's catching up, but as you said, Maito has decided to age, and he's going now up to the industrial. That's probably why he's been able to catch up in terms of military population. But let's take a look at his deck anyway. Maito here, 3 rockets. That is a powerful shipment, and of course 2 factories, as you'd expect there as well. So British gonna have access to those. We have a bit of another raid down here. Cavalry trying to do some damage. Do take out a villager there, but now going to be scared away by musketeers. Maito, as soon as he gets up, is going to get that guard upgrading queue. Well, actually, he's not quite got the resources for that. So until a shipment arrives, he is actually going to be behind. Taking damage from these longbowmen here.
There might be a little foul, kind of, the unpacking?
That was a deliberate. They do a 360, so he can say he did a 360 no-scope.
Maito's got the extra 2 falcons from the age up, and 4 falconets is better. But, oh, nice hussar flank though, so it might even out a bit.
Yeah, that was good, coming from the back there. Maito spotting it, though, and moving the cannons inwards towards more musketeers away from the cavalry. All those cav now gone down, and can refocus on these longbowmen. Absolutely brutal. Two falconets here versus the 1 now, which is basically on 1 life. Does get taken out here, and the longbowmen going to have to get out. I expect we're going to see a industrial age shipment very soon now, assuming he was able to send one as soon as he hit up. I'm not certain if he actually had one ready. But either way, in the industrial age, it's going to be very, very strong. And another donation coming in, me getting reprimanded for saying Lacazette name wrong. Pardon me. How do you say his name? I'm not even... Wow. I'm very bad at reading names and trying to concentrate here. But either way, thank you very much for the donation.
Yeah, it looks like Jib's going to try and pick off the... he wasn't sure. He thought maybe he'd try and pick off the falconet with the range of longbows, but then he decided against it and took a volley for his hesitation. He's adding in an extra town centre here on the right. I think that might just be he's trying to get rid of his wood bank, because you can see like he's forced off so many mines by these musketeers at the top. So all he's been gathering is wood, really.
A little bit of a raid from Maito here, returning the favour, has a few musketeers split off. Doing some damage, and I think he knows now where the bulk of the villagers are, and this army's here for some reason, so it must be protecting something which is behind all of these walls. Perhaps Maito can catch on to that. Currently though, parked outside the first TC and laying damage, laying siege to it. Guard musketeers, royal guard actually, redcoat is now in queue.
Yeah, I mean, so the only thing Jib has going for him, he is up 13 vills, which is that's not insignificant.
He has been raiding the whole game, so to his credit, that is an advantage he's managed to carve out for himself. But is that going to be enough? Look, 3 conclave rockets or whatever they're called, and Royal Guard musketeers here.
Yeah, this army at the moment for Maito looks pretty unkillable. Jib. He's going to need to somehow get a culverin up and just camp behind these walls. I think that's the only way he can possibly beat this army. He's definitely not going to do it with pure longbow against
Yeah.
rockets.
Well, they are veteran longbow. So...
Yeah, and the problem is as well, he's just no natural resources. We can see he's adding up all, his mills, and Maito just has the freedom to gather from every hunt. So he's probably gathering exactly the same despite being down 14 bills.
Yeah, that's true. It's not even that anymore. It's only 4 vills.
Yeah, and he's having to run all his vills again. He's making more walls, but it feels like it's just delaying the inevitable here, I'm afraid. It seems his presence on the map is just getting narrower and narrower, and he's being confined to like smaller and smaller space until he's just going to disappear from the map.
Perhaps it'll turn into a singularity so dense that it'll just suck everything on the map into it, and that'll be the end of the game. Maybe he's trying to create a black hole. That is his strategy.
Yeah, well, I've not seen that before. We'll see if it works.
It does not look like it's going to work. We have rockets and falconets and a ton of Royal Guard musketeers knocking at his door, and there's just these fragile mills and longbowmen's inside. GG. Game number 2 going to Maito, and now I must investigate how that man's name is said, because I feel very bad, and I haven't really been able to he hasn't said anything in the chat, though. Let's scroll up and find him.
Well, it's a good way of getting donations, right? Just purposely pronounce
people's
names wrong. Yeah, names wrong who donate, and then they'll send a second donation, annoyed that you fudged it up.
I have no way to see it. It appears on the screen for like 6 seconds, and then it's gone. And because this isn't my stream, it's the ESOC stream, I can't look in Streamlabs because I just don't have it open. So I have no like donation thing that persists. It's all very ephemeral. It just disappears, and then I just have to look at their name and go blah blah blah, and then try and read their message. I do apologise, but game number 2 going to Maito here. Let's take a quick look at some of these graphs. The all resources gathered. Maito ahead decisively that whole game there, despite the raids and Gib being up on villagers a lot of the time. Maybe that comes down to micro and just, I think, natural resources in the end as well. Taking a look at the military unit population, we see in the Fortress Age really spiking for Maito, and then just as those 2 Falks come out, Sompu Konku, who wins? Trained and respected British musketeer, ready to die for his country. Sepoy, a random drunk guy from the slums of Delhi with a gun. But Sepoy's still stronger. Mate, they're coming out of the pubs. They're like, oh, let's fucking kill everyone.
Next map is High Plains. And so I believe Jib then picks his Civ first. So he's just deciding this map might not be the best for a sort of turtle strategy, because this is another one where you kind of have to take map control with the 5 trading posts. And so it's not really really a map where you want to be sort of walling up and that kind of thing. So we've seen people play well using Portugal on this map. You can kind of turtle while still taking the trading post, so that could be a nice compromise for him.
Let's take a look. I wonder if Jib is all that confident with Portugal. That's the trouble, though. We know he's played Japan. He's played British. Those are his 2 strongest civs. I know he likes France and India. Spain, okay.
Ooh. Now Spain is very good on this map.
Yeah.
It's more of a niche civ though, and not many people play it. So I'm pretty pleased to see him choose this. Spain's it's a good tournament civ. It's not a civ you really want to be like quick searching and just playing lots of 1v1s, but it's got like a really good niche in tournaments on certain maps. And Maito's just taking the mirror. Wow. This guy.
Oh, this is exciting. My favourite civ coming down. I'm ready for this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 3 in a best of 5 series between Maito and Gib the Dirty. Gib the Dirty. G-I-B.
Has this matchup happened? Do you remember? Have we had a Spanish mirror in a tournament? Recently? Like in an ESOC tournament? I'm sure we must have done, but it's not a matchup that I really remember.
It's not something you get to see all that often. So this is exciting. I have a feeling we casted a Spanish mirror, or maybe it was Spain versus Portugal on this very map, Cossack, in a previous cast. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, we did Spain versus Portugal. That was Ginggin, Rafael. They're two pretty common civs on this map, just for the reasons that we have the 5 trading posts, and we can expect that both of them are probably going to send advanced trading post as their first card.
Yeah.
And one of them's going to get 2 trading posts, right? And one of them's going to get 3 trading posts. And obviously, you want to be the guy that gets the 3 trading posts.
Yeah.
So we'll have to find out who that is, assuming they do send advanced trading post.
I was just about to mention,
something different.
Certainly ATP, advanced trading post, is definitely an option, a very powerful one. But I think there is room for other build orders. There is room for perhaps just the ordinary, naked, powerful FF, you know, the one where Spain wants to be very, very fast, and perhaps make some musketeers and war dogs in the colonial age even. Gets those 2 falcons out as soon as he gets up, and he's very, very aggressive. There is also an option for something a bit slower, perhaps. There's also Spanish gold now. I wonder if that will come into play. We'll see what they do. There's a variety of options, but Jib the Dirty, off to an excellent start here, is able to kite the settler treasure, just trying to get them off him. He wanted to kill one of the coyotes and then lay down this trading post, but it looks like they were being persistent and hugging his explorer. Does manage to get rid of them, and is going to get this trading post down. It shouldn't make any difference, though, because the Travois isn't going to be coming past that TP, so the delay, not all that important. I wonder if Maito's going to get it up. Holy crap. Oh, yes, I think that's just in time. And Maito probably knows that that is the trading post you go to if you want to get that first pass. So doing that, Maito going to be well on his way to his next shipment, and is going to be quite pleased with himself for picking that extra batch of XP up. This was a 200 wood start, so that is why we're seeing these trading posts coming down so early.
Yeah, this actually makes advanced trading post a lot less desirable, just because you both put a TP down, and so shipping advanced trading posts from here on in isn't do too much, because it actually doesn't increase the HP of the trading post which you put down, and the benefit of making the future trading post cheaper just isn't there. So yeah, I'll be curious to see if they actually still ship it. I mean, the one benefit the reason why you might ship it is because you actually have more shipments to send now that you built a TP, right? So they might go, well, I can actually still squeeze that in. But I don't know if you do send it from this point, actually. They might both just skip it now.
Yeah, they both have Spanish gold in their deck, and they both have ATP in their deck. So we will see what they do. If it is going to be coming, it's going to arrive about now would be the time. So we're going to know shortly. But Maito's deck has more... Ooh, $5 coming in from Comet K. Looking forward to the Jib reverse sweep here. See you in the quarterfinals, losers. Oh, baby. That would be excellent. What an upset. Could you imagine the betting match? Just it almost secured the victory and the reverse sweep. Brilliant. Maito picks up Marigolds worth 60 XP, though. It does not look like Cossack we will be seeing a ATP from either of the players.
No. Yeah, so... well, hang on.
No.
Spoke a little bit too soon.
Yeah, I thought it would have been here by now. Maito is going to be going for it.
Yeah, he's got a villager out herding this. A villager's out herding his hunts pretty early on as well. He gets the faster age up in as well. Jib's been a little bit behind on the age ups this series. It looks like, is Jib sending advanced trading post as well?
It would be here by now. I mean, Maito got that pass a little bit sooner, didn't he? So maybe that's the case. If it's going to come, it has to be any second now. So my assumption would be that he is not going to do that. So we do see a bit of a divergence in this Spain mirror here.
Yeah, the other reason Jib might have decided against it as well is his Explorer is quite low on HP, so that might be another factor in deciding, well, does he actually want it or not?
That's true. Look at these two.
Yeah,
I thought they were green war dogs for a moment. I thought these war dogs were here with their explorer to take on Maito's villager, but actually Maito securing the route, he anticipates that his opponent might go ATP just like he is, and makes 2 war dogs so that he can take out his opponent's explorer and perhaps deny him from getting out on the route. So spending 150 food there to secure it, but perhaps an investment that, although it's not going to be since his opponent isn't going trading posts. But still, manages to a nice preemptive war dog, and actually does pick up his opponent's explorer with them.
Yeah, it looks like Jib's just going for the standard, really, really fast age 3. We can see he's got 200 coin bank, so we can assume that he's going to age up with the tower and ship 700 coin as soon as possible, and just try and hit a really fast age 3. This could be one way of countering the TP line in that he's just going to age up so much before Maito, ship the 2 Falconets, maybe age up with the 8 Pikes, and then just assuming maybe Maito stagecoaches, he can just roll down the trading post line and as soon as he ages up and says thank you very much for researching stagecoach for me, and takes it from there.
Yeah.
So I think that's his play. He's obviously not setting up to contest it in age 2 anyway. So he's going for that fast age 3.
It looks like it, and he's got that outpost down, not super far forward, but forward enough to act as a spawn point where he can launch his shipments in. A little bit of a War Dog war here. Does come in, pick up his Explorer. That looks like the purpose of it. But is it going to be in vain? Oh, no, he has a War Dog of his own. Or is that... No, it's 3 Maito War Dogs. He might just take down the Explorer again. Actually going to pull off. But interestingly, Maito aged up with the 500 food politician. So going to forego that outpost and instead have more food. 700 wood. Oh, another dollar from... oh, God. He knows I do...
Who's it from?
It's
the same guy. It's the same guy.
Yeah, but he wrote it in IPA, so I should be able to fucking read it. Comet K, $5. Theoretically, this matchup on this map should come down entirely to age 1, which theoretically gives equal skill. All right then.
So it looks like this Maito's actually shipped 5 villagers. This could maybe work in Jib's favor. So the one thing Jib needs to do from this position is he's got to hit this really fast age 3, and then because he can see stagecoach has been teched with his outpost line of sight, he knows from there he's got to start taking down these trading posts, and he is going to have the tech advantage for a good maybe a minute and a half, even 2 minutes, where Maito can't really contest the army that Jib's going to have out. So we'll have to see it, because Maito's setting up to age up, so he won't be too far behind. So 2 minutes is probably a bit optimistic. We're probably more looking at like a minute and a half that Jib's going to have to, his window where he's going to have to try and get his damage done.
Yeah, and it looks like Jib, he's not going to go for the super fast age up. Well, he's not going for the super aggressive age up. We've oh my goodness, woven in 5 villages, going for a bit more eco here. But I wonder if that's right, because Maito has that big old trading route, and it feels like the way you might punish that is by being aggressive, and any kind of boom that isn't the ATP boom just feels inferior. I wonder.
Yeah, and we got 5 masters, and Maito's actually the one being kind of aggressive now. Okay, he doesn't get any villager kills, but idling, what is that? 12 villagers. That's just taken off 100 coin off Jib's total, and Maito hasn't had to do anything for that really. So nice little move there. We can see Jib's got his war dogs already, so he's going to start contesting this line maybe.
Yeah, he's got them all lined up. Sadly, war dogs don't have they can't throw torches, so there's no siege attack animation for them. But
he's just lost a villager at the back as well. Maito poked in again with the 5 muskets. Nice little move. And again, nice by Maito. He doesn't get greedy or anything and pushing any further. He just took the 1 vill, was pretty happy with that, moved back out, and then he's trying to find a new angle.
He's gonna... Looks like Jib coming into Maito's base now. He knows that Maito's musks are on the other side of the map, and he's got only some war dogs here. He's coming in with his cavalry, and before his opponent gets up to the next stage, he's got a little bit of a window to come in here, do some damage. Look at those war dogs just obediently standing next to the Rex whilst the Hussars siege it there.
Ooh, he's ignoring the TP line. So this is interesting. He's sort of decided, well, it's probably too late actually for him to seize the TPs now. He figures his only way to win is actually just to go for the base and maybe seize down the production.
And just try and take everything before Maito can really mass anything from shipments. Just be in the base, killing units as and when they arrive.
Yeah, he might be right. This might be his only chance from here. He's got to get value out of these Hussars though. He's got 10 skirms coming up. And the 2 Falcons have arrived, so this is his moment. He really needs to make this work.
Yeah, this is the window. Taking out the Minutemen, he's taken out the War Dogs. Though the pikeman numbers are dwindling here, I think the town centre focusing them down. So the cannons are going to have... Oh no, the pikemen are up sieging the Rex.
Oh, he didn't get the Rex! The 5 skirms just popped out.
Just in time. Oh my goodness. $10 from Comet K. And he's gotten the same message as previously. So clutch 5 skirmishes, but still, they're and I think that's what Maito needs, because look, there's a lot of power in this base right now. Jib actually doing very, very well. He's got a big mass here. We can't forget Maito as a train. 2 falconets of his own arrive. A falconet war here. Is he going to... And a few war dogs being trained just in time. Cannons coming forward. A shot taken onto the pikeman there. He's going to try and get onto hand combat. One of them has taken damage from the other one now. Look, he's actually come on top of the Falcor, sacrificing, though, a bunch of pikemen to do this. Just takes it out just in time with a low HP pikeman. Rest in peace, Kevin. May his sacrifice be remembered. But on top with the 2 falconets, and Maito's one's neutralized. He's had to rebuild his racks in the back here, and only just now has gotten it up. 1 dragoon going in queue. No skirms just yet. We're not going to see reinforcing units for a moment. 9 Rodeleros now coming out as well. These are going to charge on over.
I'm really pleased these are charging on over. I was getting a little worried in case 5 Lancers might come out, but this town, is it any shipment going to come out? This town centre is going to go down.
There you go.
The 5 Lancers just get. He's been getting so quite lucky with these shipments just popping out.
Look, they're coming in with the villagers. He has to. This is where he has to neutralise these forces and sending the villagers in to do it. But I think the Rodeleros are going to be enough to take on the reverse sweep. It's real. It's happening. The score is currently 2-1 to Jib. Jib picking up his first game in this series. Isn't going out 3-0. He's going to be pleased with himself. Also, $5 from what I think is Duck. Hoyson Duck or something I read. I'm sorry, but yes, thank you for that. I am very pleased for Jib. That was nice. Completely ignores the trading route. Maito perhaps being a little bit too greedy, losing that falconet, those falconets when they come out, and Jib just scaling his big army into a victory.
Yeah, I really like that. I mean, in hindsight, that decision by Jib just to head straight for the base was that was absolutely the correct one. If he'd wasted time seizing the trading post like I anticipated he might do, then Maito has enough time to build up his army. And Maito even got a tiny bit lucky. He got those 5 skirms out. He just got those 5 lancers out towards the end. So even his batches were coming out in his favor, but it still wasn't enough just because Jib. He hit the right time and he decided, Maito's dropped. He dropped like 1,200 resources on the stagecoach line, and that doesn't immediately come back, especially when you're owning like when Jib's pushing at like 8 minutes. Like that hasn't paid back for itself yet.
Yeah, you're investing in early shipments, so you're just down on tempo. It's a bunch of wood. The stagecoach upgrade's worth quite a lot. You're absolutely right. And then just when Jib just sends this massive timing in, all at this moment, and comes out on top of the Falconet War, is able to take the game. Well done to Jib. The score is 2-1. Will it be the reverse sweep? I wonder how many people... We'll see. You've got to have faith. Either way, though, a lot of people have just lost a bunch of imaginary ESOC money because they betted on a 3-0. It's not a 3-0, it's a 3-1. So this betting match representing some interest, and I'm pleased. So an excellent Spain mirror. Well, not so much that it was excellent, but certainly Spain being played, and I really like Spain. So let's go into game number 4.
Maito's decided to go into super serious mode. He's already got the India selected, which I hear of late is quite a strong civ these days. Maito pulling out the stops now. He doesn't want to be taking any risks.
Not as good as some of his contemporaries, though.
Nice.
Got it in.
That was nice.
Got it in.
Got it in.
Got it in.
Have to see if Jib goes for his China. So this opens the option up for a little bit of water play. So maybe Jib can get back into his turtley sort of gameplay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he doesn't need to, considering the game he won was quite aggressive.
Yeah.
So,
I like how he picks Spain there. I mean, you can just go for that all-in fast fortress because it doesn't require perhaps all as... Comet K, another... Wow, $15 coming in. Jib, he's got his point on the board now with Spain, and now we've hit the reset. So now he can pull out his power civs again. He can play Japan. He can play British civs that he's comfortable with, and he's just gotten the victory a lot of the time. If I was going into that matchup, $1 from that guy again. But yes, he's got his good civs back on the table here, and his confidence will probably be restored a little bit. He's not going out without a fight. He's got 1 point on the board.
He's obviously considering though what what civ to play, he's thinking about it. So obviously he's got his Japan. So assuming if he wanted to be optimistic and is actually still looking to win the series, he's going to play Japan once more out of the next 2 games. So he kind of has to decide, does he want to do it this game or next one? It looks like he's gonna mirror Maito again with the India, and presumably pick Japan as his civ on the last game, assuming he was to beat Maito.
India mirror going down. And I'm surprised that he picked that, given that Maito locked India. He had that counter pick option. But we just got $1 in from Sampu Konku, who gives us a joke. Cossack, how many Gaias does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know. You tell us, Sampu. I would guess 1. He's quite a smart guy, Gaia. I reckon he can figure it out.
Yeah, I reckon.
That's my answer. I think it's 1. But you let us know if it's any different.
Well, 3. One's complaining about lag. One's
one's writing the strategy guide for
that was the answer.
The
final one, the final guy here was writing the strategy guide, but the other 2 are complaining about lag and I don't know, making maps or something. I've forgotten the joke. My delivery wasn't great. Oh well. Saving EP recorded game. The score is 2-1. The reverse sweep is potentially happening. Maito, the story of this series so far, the expected winner, wins his first 2 games. We go into the final match expecting a quick and final lethal point for the 3-0. Not the case though. Jib picks up a point on the board in the Spain mirror, and now we've gotten to the Civ reset where Jib can now play the Civs that he is happy and confident with again, electing to play India on this particular map. Will we see another point go to Jib? It's still match point for Maito, but this series renewed with vigor, I suppose. I'm saying words. Excellent. Let's get into this. Elephant about to come across 90 coin there. The other elephant does find a native scout, which you say is intangible, potentially not going to be going for that. But Jib, here he is in the north of the map, playing as India on Alaska. In the meantime, Maito also playing as India on the south here, going for 80 wood. 2 grizzly bears guarded 80 wood here. A stand of cottonwood trees, Maito. Wicked Cossack, yes.
Yeah, so the thing about this map is there's actually some really huge wood treasures that usually spawn. Occasionally you get the 110 wood. We actually have here, the big one here is the 150 wood. And so these treasures in India mirrors, as you can imagine, kind of create a lot of momentum for the player that gets them. So India is kind of quite popular on this map just because of the big wood treasures. So we'll have to keep an eye on this 150 wood. It is not easy to take by any means. It's free grizzlies. You actually have to be careful at how you line up your explorers, but you can take it in age 1 if you stun them correctly.
Yeah.
But it just depends who comes kind of across it first, and if one of the players actually even decides to go for it, because you do need your explorers at quite high HP, which Maito does have, and he's the player that's actually going to come across this. So
yeah,
we'll see. Jib might come across it as well. He's got an explorer going down. I hope for his sake he at least gets line of sight of it.
Doesn't look like Maito started it, so no contention here unnecessarily. But both elephants in the area. Something I wanted to pick up on is they both went for a treasure right away. Fair enough, had their elephants together. But then Maito kept his elephants quite close. Everywhere one elephant goes, the other is quietly following behind, just far away enough to be making use of all of the scouting potential. But Jib having a different strategy, has his elephants quite far apart, covering more ground perhaps. How do you feel about this? Firstly, though, Maito picking up a native clubman, the Nuka there. That's going to be quite useful, do you think, for that treasure in the south?
Yeah, that's just really nice in India mirror, because it's quite good against the explorers, but also if you want to be blocking the enemy's aggro, which we'd expect to see coming down in about a minute or so. It's just annoying for the other guy to put that in, put it in the middle of the map and kind of disrupt the aggro from going down. But yeah, both players kind of just ignoring this 150 wood treasure just because it's so hard to take, and you kind of have to stand there for a good 40-50 seconds. So yeah. I think both players sort of making the right decision, actually looking around for other treasures.
And if you go for it, it's risky, right? Your opponent might come in there and steal it from you, and you're the one that's put in all that hard work. This is interesting. 2 different shipments coming out from each player. Maito going with, by the looks of it, East Indiamen, but Jib going to play the more standard distributivism. What do you think of this, Cossack?
I like both plays. I can never complain about triple first, but I also like to see water plays, especially on Alaska. Another minor difference is that Jib actually went from the market in age 1, which we don't see too often as India, just because it actually slows you down quite a lot. And is is this Nukta out of TC range? I think it is. That's a huge issue.
Oh wow, yeah, especially with the weaker houses on EP. These elephants coming in because they got to do something about it. Does get the stomp off, but Clubman now coming in, and does he get the swing? Is that the ×2 versus the cavalry? Are they cavalry? Does that count, or is the bonus irrelevant here?
I think he does. These elephants can't really do much. This is just so awkward for him. And he's going for an in base aggro.
Do you think the Nuka has deterred him, has made him frightened, and as a result of that going to go in base whilst Maito secures some map, fairly central location near a hunt and a mine, and covering so the just basically a strategic position. Has it spooked him, this Nuka? Trying to make the Nuka, trying to stop the siege damage from coming in, just using the elephants to do that, but that house is going to go down.
Yeah, Maito's going to zone in on that. That's got to be really annoying. I mean, I guess if he pulls a villager, no, the house is still going to go down, right?
Yeah, there's no way you can stop it.
Yeah.
It would even be worth sacrificing the Nuka. House goes down. He's going to have to rebuild that, so that's an extra. I think they are cheaper though, right? An extra 60. Still a 60 wood loss. It isn't 100. But not something he was hoping. Or the Nuka coming in for the cheeky swing.
Oh,
but,
oh no! Oh, he put the aggro down, but he didn't put any villagers on it.
Oh shit!
Oh no!
Oh, so
right.
He's been aging slowly then. Yeah, Maito almost up to the next stage, and Jib only really just starting to get that going. Trying to compensate a little bit with an absolute ton of villagers. ASD indeed.
They're going to be working overtime. Oh my! I mean, so when I say put the aggro down but didn't have any bills on it, he put the foundation down but he hadn't started it.
So it doesn't even start building, because yes, it can build by itself. So no production at all, just a bunch of wasted time. Oh, that is brutal.
It's probably not the best against the water boom as well, because against the water boom you kind of want to be putting on the pressure. I think the best follow up to a mistake like this would maybe just go straight to age 3 or something, something that doesn't hamper your slow age up time to colonial. So, I mean, if he wanted to put on any aggression, it's going to be. He can't really. I mean, it's almost 6 minutes and he's not age 2.
Yeah, look at these two sepoy coming in, and Maito's going to see all these villagers on the agrifort and think, huh, what's going on? Looks like, though, does take a shot from that town centre. Ooh, that sepoy fairly low HP, but causing a little bit of idle time. Ultimately, though, a lot of damage on that sepoy here. So let's take a look at the recalculated economic unit population. Maito thoroughly ahead here currently, 30 vils to 22.
Yeah, he's also the player with map control as well. And he's also got his market up, so he's not even behind in that.
And he's going to finish up this 150 wood treasure post discovery age. This is probably the time to go for it, because the elephants are less likely to be out on the map. That's when they're usually looking for treasures and could potentially steal it. But here, now that we're up into the next stage, go back for it, and that's a nice number of villager seconds just sitting here for the easy pickings.
Yeah, and I'm really pleased with what Jib's doing. I think he's doing the best follow up you can do to making this age up mistake. The thing that I think this is the only thing you can do really is go straight to age 3, because there's just nothing you can do in age 2. If you age up at 6 minutes, you kind of have to accept you made the mistake and go straight to age 3, which is what he's doing. So he might still have a chance, just because he hasn't lost really, and you don't really lose too much eco by the late age up. The only thing you do lose is military presence. So by going straight to age 3, it kind of negates that the major disadvantage of aging up late.
I see. So he's gonna forgive his sins in a way by getting up to the next stage, and that will be all sorted. But yes, that's right, the town centre, it wasn't exactly idle. It's not like a Eurociv where you have to queue the age up. He's been training villagers all this time, so he's not actually at a disadvantage, providing Maito doesn't punish him for the late age. And so far, so good, going straight to age 3. Foreign logging coming down. So what's Maito up to in the meantime? Just booming away, making lots of fishing ships, getting his upgrades in, and building the consulate, and getting... Oh, we have a dollar from somebody. Sargsan. Yes.
You need to get a robot or someone just to read out the names.
Yeah, I definitely do. I'm not an accomplished name reader.
So it seems that Jib is he doesn't want to make the same mistake, so he's put 8 villagers on his new one, and he did that immediately. He's definitely been burned from not doing that, going to age 2. So he's definitely going to get up to age 3 before Maito can do anything about it. The question is, we'll have to see if Maito just decides to commit to age 2 and push in, or maybe follow him up.
Ottoman consulate has just come in now for Maito. Almost takes out a village. Did he? I think it got garrisoned in the Agra fort there. So not
it did, yeah.
It's going to be... Does the native scout take damage if it's area damage? I know it can't be targeted directly, but it's invisible. That's interesting. I assume it would take...
I think it would. It looks like Maito's going to get a Vil here towards the end. He's doing poking quite well with just a small number of units. And Jib's going to have to move his villagers on the side. I think that one might go down. He gets another volley.
Rip. Villager does go down. A bunch of Gurkha now entering the base as well. 600 coin on the floor. And Maito, if he sticks a third villager, if he sticks around nicely, and another batch of Gurkha can stop this coin from being gathered up. Currently on the side of the Agra fort, looking for villagers that may be gathering. He's revived. No, Elephant does go down. Now coming around the side. 2 Sepoy coming forward, then realising that they don't want to go near Gurkha. Villagers getting back to work, but look at them all bumbling around into each other. Maito's presence when he just comes in, not only did he manage to kill a good number of villagers there, just causing all this idle time.
Yep, and Jib's doing another classic Indian strategy. When you feel in again, just go up to them, keep aging up until you get an advantage. So he's going to be looking to go to industrial, judging by his resource distribution. Oh, he's actually he actually had 1,200 food bank, but he's actually just shipped the what looks to be the Uramis because his food just went down. So he's going to delay going up to industrial just a little bit to, I believe, ship the 7 Uramis. But I think his plan at the moment does look to be going towards industrial.
Yeah.
And he might have the window to do that because Maito's going to fortress, so that does give him a little bit of time to hit industrial.
Yeah, and maybe the Urimi can be cancelled at the last moment if he wants the food back. Maybe he's just got them there for the pop potential if Maito gets a bit greedy and comes in under his base. Something that is possible. Currently, though, Maito waiting around, as you mentioned, going up to the next day as he doesn't want to be committing any units to his opponent's town centre. But there's the next wonder. So either the Urimi not coming at all, but certainly the age up going down. So let's see if he can get away with it. Ambitious, perhaps, but Maito is aging, as you said. So
yeah, well, he needs to do something. He's been behind for quite a while now, so you've just got to take some risks and spam as many Urami shipments as you can. Cross your fingers, hope for the best. It's pretty effective strategy. So we'll have to see. I mean, Maito's just going to do exactly the same. He's going to go up to industrial as well, which is probably the smart thing. So Jib's advantage isn't really going to be an advantage at all anymore because Maito's the one with the huge eco lead.
He's got the scout in the back. What's with the ceasefire? Was that a misclick?
Maito's wondering as well. We'll have to see if Jib explains the reason behind that. Just for laughs.
Yeah.
Might have been a misclick.
GFF, just for fun. But yes, Maito, it was clearly a mistake. There was no need to use it there, so that is very, very unfortunate for Jib. Maito finding it quite funny. But this native scout in the back there, Maito knew, he saw the wonder, the Shaminar gates going down, and Maito in response going to age up himself behind it.
Yeah, and now it just becomes how many Urami shipments can you send, really? Mathwouts are quite good against Uramis, so perhaps one of the players might choose to train those units, as they're probably the best counter against Uramis. They're obviously going to have both the 2 Mathwouts from the age up, but I'm kind of just expecting to see pure Urami shipments. I mean, see Maito's, he's already got like 2,000 food stacked. He's ready to get these shipments spammed.
$1 from Sargsian, and he says his name many, many times over. Thankfully, we don't have voice to speech. That was the wrong way around. Speech to voice? No, text to Well, you know what I'm trying to say. Yes.
Yeah.
So how does Yurumi on Yurumi go, really? Are those units... What happens when they fight each other?
A lot of destruction, I guess. Usually the way it goes is the person with more Urumi wins. That's kind of the rule to follow.
Oh, I see. The
Otherwise, there's
Zuta more
not.
unit principle.
Yes, otherwise, I mean, the issue is there's not too much micro you can deal with it. You know, like Skirm Goon Wars, you can kind of do with a lot of fancy kiting. But I mean, Urumis, you just kind of sort of attack move and hope you have more than the other guy.
You just jam them in there and hope.
Yeah, and if you don't, that's when you use the ceasefire and go, "Ooh, time to get out." But obviously, Jib's used up his little ceasefire, so.
Here we go. 9 Yurumi swordsmen for both players here, coming out right on cue. Is this push time for Jib? So they're both doing very similar things, right? They've both gone up to the industrial age. Maito made a few units and did a bit of raiding in the meantime, but as a result of just doing the same thing, Maito's ahead. He's got all these fishing boats. His economic unit population is sitting at 20 above Jib pretty much the entire game. He's got a lot more income, and as a result of that, is most likely going to be able to field a lot more Yurumi, and you told us how that works.
Yeah. Also, I like what Maito did with his fishing boat boom. So very nice. He didn't overdo it. He kind of just stopped at what looks to be maybe 11, 12 fishing boats, and then he's just kind of used that to supplement his land eco, and he's just gone full land from here on in. So sometimes players can overdo it with the fishing boat boom, but Maito's just hasn't overdone it. And that's worked out really well for him. And he's just deciding he's got a big advantage. He doesn't need to wait for Jib to come to him. He's going to push in.
Maito is going to push. Time to go. He hasn't seen a dock though, so Maito knows he's the only one on the water. He's going to take this market out. Big surround siege here. Gurkha's coming in, forcing the villagers off the mine here. Does manage to pick one up. House, half HP, is going to take that out. Let's take a look at the military units here. So currently 18, both players have 18 Yurumi. Both have sent the shipment twice.
Yeah, and the issue for Jib is he doesn't really have much food income right now. He's only really gathering from these berries, whereas Maito's just constantly at like 2,000 food bank. So anytime he gets a new shipment, he can always ship the Yurumis. And yeah, Maito just gets to dictate exactly how this game ends. Really, he can either wait for Jib to come to him, or he can push in again. He's sort of just playing with him, really. I mean, Jib is going to need the world's luckiest fight to come back.
It's looking very tough. 45 Gurkha for Maito, and Green just sitting on his army is just 15 Sepoy, which are countered by Gurkha, and they have the same number of... no, they don't. Maito just received another Yurumi shipment, and he has a few Zambaraks mixed in as well, and he's got the Mansabar units. This is going to be very, very tough. It's almost 100 points up. Maito can pretty much do anything now, just right-click base and be good. And this is just a result of 16, nearly 17 minutes of fish boom, and his opponent doesn't.
Yeah, he's even built a small number of Zambraks just to deal with the Mahwauts, which are the one thing the rest of his army would get countered by. So there's no weakness in his army now. I don't see how this army ever dies. It just doesn't. It's just up to Jib to kind of instigate his demise in this game, and I think he's choosing to do it now. So hopefully they put up a good fight.
We'll see how it goes. The fight has begun. My screen's going crazy. Maybe he'll call his Minutemen as well. We have the Yurumi on the right-hand side here. Another Yurumi shipment
it's
coming
the
out.
Mansabar regiment as well. So he's got the
just in time.
Yeah, he's got the little buff. But it's not really going to be enough here, is it?
No, this is the point. When you're a new player and you just walk up to the PC and you just have a bigger army, and there's not a lot to say here.
Petard's coming in as well, so that's the final nail in the coffin.
They're going to take out the aggro fort. GG. Alright, that does it, ladies and gentlemen. Maito does take the 3-1 victory over Jib the Dirty. The reverse sweep not happening today. But well put up. I wonder how many people put a 3-0 victory on Maito for the betting tournament here. But Jib does take a game off. I think he should be pleased with that result. I think we all knew that Maito was going to go in and become the winner of this one. Maito, perhaps one of the strongest players currently, and definitely a contender to win this tournament. So Jib, he's had a good ride this tournament. I need to get my screen away from these flashing units. It's really frustrating. But yes, that is the end of this game.